I finally found it, and now no one can stop me!
Hey all, sorry about like the really weird like uploading schedule. This has been going on for years, and hopefully soon after this we'll be getting like a much more consistent upload schedule. But yeah, like I figured I'd experiment a little with this one since I'm drawing a Mario movie piece. I figured I would share a bit of my thoughts on the movie. Of course, this piece is based off of the little Mayor Pauline invitation that you got, like the cute little thing that you get in the smbpolling.com website. It just felt like a super fun scene to draw, especially considering how Mario and Pauline don't exactly interact in this movie. So, you know, just a cute little scenario here, just him getting the key to the city. So, alright, here we go. I thought the movie was just a blast, honestly. Like, definitely felt like super liberating to watch this years after I was just coping with the 90s movie. Even though, like, you know, it's a bit of a guilty pleasure of mine. Like, Bob Hoskins is like a really good Mario. The visuals are fantastic. The music score, freaking awesome. Like, Brian Tyler just scored his shit out of this movie. Like, not even just like the Mario songs. It was just like a lot of the original songs are just, they were honestly like the highlights for me. Like, especially like the track when like Peach was like on her little like parkour scene. Like that was like one of my faves. Like, honestly, it was really good. I wasn't expecting to be into the voice acting, and I'm pretty sure the rest of the world wasn't as well. Like, but yeah, no, the voice acting was really good. I was surprised by like how fast I adjusted to like the new voices. Jack Black Bowser crushed it, you know, big surprise. But another favorite of mine was Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. He gave this really like frail and like warbly, like almost Gollum-like voice, which wasn't something I was expecting to like fit with the character, but it just fits so well. Like, honestly, like the guy's a genius. Like, he's been in the industry for years. Like, I just freaking love his work. Speaking of which, I would go on like all about like all the cool Easter eggs and like, you know, how fun they all are. But honestly, what like got my attention the most was like story and like the really faithful handling of the characters. The entire thing just like has this like really timeless flair that like old Mickey Mouse cartoons would have, from like, you know, like the really simple story, the really simple characters as well. Like, just everything just feels like it came out of that era of animation, if that makes sense. The Max Fleischer, you know, like Popeye influence is always like a really prevalent thing in Mario, but like here it was like expanded upon like tenfold, considering how it's like an animated film, and it just felt really nice to like see Mario as like this essentially like classic like cartoon do-gooder that would like stand in the face of any adversity that's thrown at him. So like, it was just really refreshing to see, especially in an era where like we're admittedly like a little spoiled by streaming shows, where like we'd have like, you know, really dark and serious storylines. Like, bro, like honestly, like I love those, but let cartoon characters be goofy for once. Like, come on. And I know people have said this over and over again, but I'm sorry, they were like really just the highlights for me. Like, my favorites were definitely Bowser, Luigi, and Peach. Like, I was a little worried that they wouldn't do her justice, but like honestly, she was just like, I mean, like obviously like she's a badass in this one, but she was honestly just also just kind of a dork in this movie, and I just loved her for that. This particular line delivery just stuck with me. It was from the scene where she just roasts the ever-loving shit out of Mario.
This guy's a lunatic, a psycho. He will eat you for breakfast. You won't even notice it probably because you're very, very small.
I do wish that we got to see a bit more of her caring side, because, you know, that is the core of the character. You know, she's a very like tender, loving person, like especially in the games. But at the same time, Peach here, like, she reminds me a lot of the old the Nintendo Power Comics Peach, where she, you know, they really dial in on her being like, you know, a badass monarch who takes shit from nobody, which is honestly also like a really fun expansion of the character, and I really appreciate them for taking inspiration from that. We were also really close to finding out her backstory, but it was just all kind of just narrowed down to I landed in the Mushroom Kingdom, and yeah, now I'm a princess now. But, you know, hopefully we'd get more in the sequel, but I just honestly really enjoyed Peach in this movie. Like, her dynamic with Mario was just so cute. Like, it just feeds it feeds a little shipper in my heart. Like, it was just really heartwarming to see, like, every time like they were on screen together. It was just so cute. Same thing goes to Luigi's like dynamic with Mario. Like honestly, their whole brotherly bond was like, it was just really enjoyable to watch. And like honestly, like how short-lived that was like honestly like one of the biggest cons that I had about the movie. You know, with the old separation plot that kind of happened in the movie. Like I know it was their intention to switch Luigi and Peach's roles in this movie. And I definitely know like they did this so we would flesh out Peach and Mario a bit more, but I feel there were better ways. Kind of have the best of both worlds, honestly, without separating the brothers, because, you know, it is the Super Mario Brothers movie. And, you know, Okay, wait, we're getting off track here. We're talking about pros, not cons, so moving on. I'll get back to this in a bit. And also, like, surprisingly, like, another favorite of mine was Mario's mom. I know, like, she was, like, barely in the movie, but, like, she reminded me a lot of my mom, and, you know, I love my mom. So there's just like a little bit of bias there. You know, she was just really like endearing and relatable. And I do hope that we get more of her and Mario's family in the sequel. Okay, so now moving on to the cons. This movie is far from perfect. Like, I really don't want to parrot like anything that anybody was saying online, but yeah, Cranky's voice is pretty bad. A lot of the needle drops were really distracting. During the Mario Kart scene, well, yeah, the Take On Me scene was really weird, but what really took me out of the experience was when they were making the karts. Like, they just started blasting an AC/DC song, Thunderstruck, and just the double take that my dad and I just like gave each other. Just, bro, really? Like now? Okay. It was just like a really these like oddly placed pop songs. Like, they just came in like the weirdest moments. So yeah, pop songs were kind of doo-doo caca. What the hell did they do with Lumily? Like, please stop this. No. And yeah, the film does have like a pretty big like pacing problem. As I mentioned earlier with like Peach's backstory, Mario and Luigi getting separated, it really does hurt the movie a lot, because it's definitely better than most post Despicable Me 1 Illumination movies. Like, at least it doesn't drag. Like, could you imagine like a Mario movie, like an animated Mario movie that drags? Like, you know, at least it was like brisk enough to like, you know, keep everybody's attention. Especially with like the action sequences, like those are a lot of fun. But yeah, no, the screenplay definitely has like a lot to be desired. It's really less on me hating on the story, but like it's more just like we were getting like a really good story. Like, it was like, just as it was like, you know, getting really good, it's either the story does like a complete 180, like forgets everything, or like it just goes by in a blink and just poof, just next scene. Alright. I got beef more with the execution rather than the actual content of the movie, if that makes sense. Oh, and Toad, like, he effectively just kind of just disappears from the story entirely. Like, it really sucked for me, because in my opinion, like, his whole thing with Mario and Peach actually had the potential to be this generation's Donkey, Shrek, and Fiona, considering what is teased in the marketing, and I will not get over that. Like, yeah, I mean, that is a little overhypey, I know, but I don't know, I just saw like a lot of charm in like them as a trio. Like, seriously, like a lot of these character moments were really what just made the movie for me, and just made up for a lot of the flaws, I guess. The dialogue also felt kind of off to me, like in some parts. Like, it's not like bad or like insultingly bad, but like it's just there are certain scenes where like the dialogue feels a little too simple. Like whenever there's like an opportunity for like an exchange, like for example, the scene when Mario is about to face Donkey Kong in the Kong arena, I was sort of expecting like a tense, you know, back and forth between Cranky and Mario, but the dialogue in this movie tends to like just kind of cut to the chase, like just basically the gist of what the scene is. So he's just basically just, you know, I'm gonna defeat your son and win, and that's just kind of like all we get. Like, that's all he kind of says, and just boom, this fight scene with Donkey Kong. Like, it works in the sense that it moves the scene along, but as a consequence, we don't really get to know much about the character motivations of like what's driving the scene forward. And it sucks, especially during the scenes when Mario is getting to know Peach and Toad. There would be like a really good opportunity for him to like open up about his life in Brooklyn as a plumber, you know, like trying to get used to the Mushroom Kingdom, but you know, he just asks Peach to help him. She's just like, all right, and then like boom, they're just yeah, they just go save Luigi. It's just very basic kids movie dialogue, like, you know, like where it's really, really, really simple, like really straight to the point, written as if it was trying to like constantly keep your attention. Which like I do get, but you know, it's freaking Mario. Like I don't think like he needs that much help. Like, and plus like, you know, it's not like we're gonna be writing like a really deep and really hard to follow monologue for him. Like you just have him engage with the characters more and talk more. Like this is probably like the most in-depth Mario has been in like forever. Like, you know, we get to see his parents, we get to see more of his job. Like this is the first time like he's actually seen plumbing like ever since the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. And yet it just kind of feels like they're just kind of playing it safe with like all these characters despite, you know, like you've caught our attention. We just want to see him like more active in the story. But overall, yeah, no, like I really enjoyed this movie. I really admire like all the craft that like got put into you know, the visuals of the movie, how they handled the characters. It just honestly just, you know, it is overstated, but it really does just feel like a love letter to Mario fans. And it just feels like one of just those rare films where it actually just feels like the people involved actually, you know, they did give a crap about what they were making. In an era now where pretty much like most IP-based movies and shows are essentially just focusing on, you know, like being subversive or sometimes, you know, making fun of itself and just kind of really passive-aggressive towards its own like target audience. Like this is just like a really nice change of pace. Like I honestly, God, like dude, just bring me the sequel already. God dang, honestly, love this movie. Okay, enough talk. Let's finish this drawing. All right, let's go.